There is a language that belongs to my family, a language my great-grandparents spoke when they left everything behind and crossed the ocean in search of a better life in South America. Until one day, this language was gone, not because they chose it, not because they decided to let it go, but because they were forced to stop speaking their mother language, even at home. This is the story of that language and the story of my journey, a descendant, learning Italian from scratch to reconnect with and honor my ancestors. My name is Miriam. I am from Brazil. Portuguese is my mother language and English is my second language, a language I chose to learn to improve my career to get better opportunities. But Italian is different. With Italian, I feel it's something I miss. It's not something I need to work abroad to grow my income. It's literally something I miss. My ancestors came from the north of Italy, like hundreds and thousands of immigrants. They left their villages, their land, their family in search of a better life in Brazil. They arrived in Brazil with nothing except their culture and their language. The only thing that kept them connected to their land that they were literally forced to leave. They built communities, farms, cities, companies, and they kept Italian alive in their homes, in the church, on the streets. For decades, being Italian in Brazil meant speaking Italian. But during the Second World War, the Brazil government declared the Italian language an enemy, and Italian immigrants and descendants were forbidden to speak the language even at home. My ancestors went through these, and like many others, they stopped speaking Italian. One generation, that's all it took. The language that had crossed the ocean, that had survived poverty and displacement, was silenced in a single decade. My grandfather grew up speaking Portuguese. My father grew up speaking Portuguese. I grew up speaking Portuguese. 3 generations. When I started to write a book about the history of my family and everything they went through to immigrate and survive, I started to reconnect with them, and I thought to myself, why not learning Italian now that I have all the resources, the internet, and all the opportunities that previous generations never had, now that we are not forbidden to speak this language. Learning those stories made me feel even more respect and appreciation for my ancestors. Through their effort, through their sacrifices, they gave us a future. And I believe at least the language, not only the stories, but the language should be preserved. So this channel is the documentation of my journey learning Italian from scratch. I started to study Italian some months ago, just getting closer to the language, just getting used to listening to things in Italian and even trying to pronounce some words. I'm gonna be honest that this is a challenge for me, even though Italian is a bit similar to Portuguese, like some words and certain pronunciations. It's still a challenge, but it's something I really want to do to honor my ancestors. So if you are from Italy, I would like to connect with you to know more about the country, the language, to learn more about the stories of your family and share the stories of my family as well. I'm gonna share more about this book that I wrote about the history of my family. There are so many precious stories of sacrifice and things they went through that I'm sure will inspire you, and I am planning to share them as soon as possible. But this video is just to introduce myself and the objective of this channel. So if you know Italian, if you are a descendant, if you love Italy, I would really appreciate having you here to help me through all this journey. That's it, my friends. My great-grandparents were told they couldn't speak their language, and I am choosing to learn it deliberately and freely. Every video is one step closer to something that should never have been lost. A presto!